everyone, I'm Monsignor Jamie, and welcome to a new episode of Breaking Bread, where I bring together life's most important ingredients: faith, family, friends, and most importantly, food. And today's guest is someone I think that's no stranger to Breaking Bread, no stranger to the net, no stranger to our diocese, Monsignor David L. Cassato. After 50 years of serving this diocese as a priest, he's retiring. And what does that mean for a priest to retire? Don't go away, and we'll tell you all about it. Welcome back to Breaking Bread. I'm Monsignor Jamie, and our special guest today is Monsignor David L. Cassato.
Vicar for Catholic Schools, Director of the Italian Apostolate for the Diocese of Brooklyn and Queens, and Police Chaplain for the City of New York. I am the Pastor Emeritus of St. Athanasius St. Dominic's Parish in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Monsignor, you're going to cook today? I'm going to be your assistant? Never going to happen. You know who's the boss. Amen.
He's no stranger to us. Monsignor, welcome.
Oh, Monsignor Jamie, what are you cooking today?
I
got a lot of stories to tell about Monsignor Jamie when he was a kid.
First of all, this is my show and not your show.
I know it
okay?
is. I know
so
it is.
I
But
talk,
I want to
you
tell you
listen.
something. I want to tell you something. I'm very eager to see what we're going to eat.
Okay, we're going to prepare something, but first, I'd like to know about you. How does it feel, and what does it mean for a priest to retire?
You know me, I never retire. The way they're going to carry me out, that's the way it's going to be, that way. It's different. It's different. But I got to tell you, the relaxation in the morning when I get up, because when I used to get up when I was pastor, all you had to do was come downstairs and somebody would say, oh, this doesn't work, or that's not good, or you said this, or you did that.
This is broken. That's broken.
Now, get up in the morning, I come down, have coffee, have a piece of toast, and relax. I relax and say my prayers. I spend more time in prayer than I ever did. It's good. It's good stuff. A little bit you miss here and there, but it's fun.
50 years is a long time.
It certainly is. Can you imagine? You're just 50 now. How old are you?
No, I'm 51.
Oh, 51. I became a priest. You were 1 year old.
Yes. But anyway.
I think I baptized you.
Yeah, I think so. I think you did. But many people think you're my father anyway when they go to a store. Anyway, tell me this.
Can you imagine they go to the store and they say, are you with your son? Yes, my son.
Listen, tell me, 50 years. I mean, a priest really doesn't retire. We never retire from being a priest.
How can you retire?
Yeah. You're still going to celebrate Mass.
I love saying Mass. I love preaching. I love baptizing. I love doing weddings, all that stuff. It's really a very joyful life. There's days, like everybody has days, but I've had a very joyful 50 years. I have, as I said 100 times, people say, you regret? I have no regrets. I have no regrets. A couple of bad days, but no regrets. And retirement is just looking forward to something different. I'm still the Vicar for Catholic Schools. I'm still the Director of the Italian Apostolate. I'm still the Police Chaplain for the City of New York.
Fire chaplain?
No, you are the fire chaplain. Do you realize? I know.
I'm a deputy chief.
I'm an assistant chief.
Okay.
I'm higher ranked than you. Come on. What are we cooking
Now, so
here?
tell me this. You look forward to retirement? You look
I don't
forward
think
to
you
the
look
slower pace?
I don't think you look forward to it. I think you have to adjust to it. Bishop DiMarzio gave me a book about retirement. It's called Strength from Strength. You know, the idea of what do you do in retirement? It's a little bit of a step back. I think, right now I'm okay. I'm sure there's going to be days I say, I feel a little lost, but one day at a time.
How did the people react to you?
Well, it was a very sad moment. I left Our Lady Mount Carmel in 2001, and I was at St. Athanasius, St. Dominic's for 21 years almost. November would have been 21 years.
Right.
It was a very long run. You did a lot of things. The school, there's a tremendously beautiful school at St. A's.
Has over 400 kids.
Well, 375. 375, and we're very strong, and it's a very mixed community. It's a wonderful place. And the parish of St. Athanasius, St. Dominic's, it's probably the largest parish in Brooklyn, in Kings County. Between the two churches, there's got to be, before the pandemic, there was 3,000 people.
On Sunday.
Spanish, Italian, English, yeah.
Now, is it true that before you left, they they renamed the school?
Well, they called
They added your name on
They added a name, the Monsignor David Cassato school at St. Athanasius Catholic Academy.
How did that make you feel?
I got very emotional. I got very emotional.
It was a surprise. You had no idea.
They really fooled me on that. They really did. I'm not, usually I'm pretty on to things, but they really got me. They got me good. And I was shocked. I was surprised. I was happy. I cried. I laughed. It was a wonderful experience.
I tell you, I was there for a lot of your celebrations, but the school assembly that the kids put on really was very touching and moving.
The school children of St. Athanasius Catholic Academy put on one of the most spectacular shows I've ever seen in a school. Every class got up and did entertainment, from the littlest in pre-K to the biggest in the 8th grade, and they touched my heart. They touched my heart with their love and their affection, and it made me, again, cry. It made me happy. It was a beautiful experience. I think someone described it like I was like a grandfather watching over my children and seeing my children grow. It was a very beautiful
Well, you've
experience.
done a great job, first of all, with Catholic education as the vicar. You're going to stay on. Last year, as we know, we increased our enrollment by 1,000 students. After losing 1,000 every year, we reversed that. But I mean, you've always been dedicated. I remember from my days when I was at St. Rita's in St. Patrick's in Long Island City, you came as a new priest. You were always involved in the school, and then you reopened the school at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, and then at St. Athanasius. But really, you could see after those kids perform, first, what Catholic school does, how we not only teach them academics, but we really form the whole child, and they're just loving children, and Catholic education does just that.
Catholic education, elementary schools in our diocese and high schools are a hidden gem. Realizing we have almost 21,000 kids in our Catholic schools, and it's a gem. And our kids are so wonderful. It's just a gift. And I encourage everyone. I mean, we can help with futures.
Oh yeah, futures education.
And we can help in any way possible to get kids into schools. And I would like to see our numbers go up another 1,000 this year.
It gives that foundation that children need in
Values.
today's world, and that's what's missing.
There's a complex world that our children are going into.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NYPD and you being the chaplain, a little bit more about the Italian pasta in a few minutes. And we'll
Are
be
you going
right
to
back.
cook?
I'm
What are you going to cook
in between.
I mean, let's
I'm
cook.
going to cook a chicken rollatini alla Monsignore.
Monsignor?
This is my recipe.
Alla Monsignore?
This Monsignor.
Questo
No.
Monsignore?
I make it, you eat it.
God.
Don't go away. We'll
Look
get
at
a little
this.
bit more with Monsignor Cassato, talking about what it means to be a priest for 50 years and also what it means to be retired. Also, we'll be preparing one of my favorite dishes that I created myself, chicken rollatini alla Monsignore. Don't go away.
Well, let me tell you. He went to Meatball University, all right? He went to Meatball University. He went to the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park. He learned how to make the best meatballs and chicken rollatini. Now, I don't know if they're going to bring it up against Lydia's or some others, but let me tell you, the meatballs and the chicken rollatini are excellent.
Welcome back to Breaking Bread with Monsignor David Cassato. Now tell me, I'm going to prepare
What are you cooking? Come on.
chicken rollatini, my recipe.
All right.
So first thing we do is get chicken cutlets.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You got to pound those a little?
I pounded them down already.
You sure?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Now, what do you know about cooking? Okay, now I
Go
put a
ahead.
slice of ham. I cut the ham in half so that it's lengthwise and it doesn't fall out the side. A little extra there, a little ham here. A little Swiss cheese.
I love Swiss cheese.
Don't eat it all. You're gonna wait for it to cook. All right.
Delicious.
Right. Put this over here. Now, what makes this special is I make a little filling with
Mascarpone.
mascarpone cheese.
How'd I know?
Because I made it a number of times. Cream cheese and spinach. Now, I got frozen spinach. I just cooked it in the microwave, and you have to squeeze out all the
water.
Then you put
If not, it gets too wet.
too wet, exactly. So then you mix the spinach the mascarpone cheese and the cream cheese together. Don't put too much. And the trick is,
You're really a pro.
thank you,
Where did you learn how to do this?
Meatball University,
Ah,
the Culinary Institute of America. Okay, now I put a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh basil. I like a little spice.
yeah, not too much. Easy,
little hot pepper.
easy.
Okay. Now, the trick here is that we don't roll. If you roll it, everything's gonna fall out. So you've gotta fold it. You fold it one way, and then you fold it the other. And you put the seam on the bottom. Because when it cooks, it'll all
Seal,
melt,
right?
seal and melt together. Okay? So you go one way,
No toothpicks.
no toothpicks.
Oh.
And you just the weight of it will hold it closed. Okay? One way, and then you fold it. Now, this is the trick. The standard breading procedures: flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. Why flour? Because flour creates like a wall. So when it's frying or cooking, all of the grease stays on the outside and doesn't go in. Now, you have an option. You can fry these first in oil and then finish them in the oven. I like to be a little healthier, and I like
Put
to
everything
just
in
bake
the
it
oven because you don't want
So now,
you don't want to fry
you
things.
dip it here, right here. You roll it, all right? You put it here. Now, right away, I use a spoon because I don't want to get my hands all filled with the flour and the egg, and it'll be insane. You drain out the egg. This is just egg and a little cream and salt and pepper. I use then seasoned breadcrumbs. I like to use the panko breadcrumbs.
We used to get the Four Seasons when I was a kid.
No, we still have it, but the panko is a little bit more coarse. So you take that. Now I put a little olive oil on the bottom of the pan.
That's enough.
Okay, and then I put these here. Okay. So we're going to continue this. As I'm doing this and preparing this, I know that you've been a priest for 50 years, but over 20 years, you have been the police chaplain.
21 years.
How has that been?
That's probably the greatest privilege I have, to serve the police officers of the city. You can't believe the work they do. I just left a ceremony of about 25 detectives that did extraordinary work in solving all sorts. One case, one detective was a whole sex trafficking issue and how he solved the case and got the perps arrested. Amazing stories of the detectives, the finest detectives. The New York City detectives are probably the best in the world. They talk about Scotland Yard? No. NYPD detectives, amazing.
Now, I know that you came on board in 2001. You were installed and sworn in June, and then 9/11
happened right after.
And
Yep.
I know that you were so much involved in that. I know I was
Every
down there
day,
myself.
every day, for months and months and months, dealing with the 23 police officers that died that night,
Right.
and that day, and their families.
Right.
It's amazing. A mother of one of the police officers just called me yesterday, Janet. And
Puffler, right?
Yes, and her son, they have never found any of his remains. She's in her 80s, and she waits for the day that she gets a call.
Yeah.
Just gets a phone call that they found her son, because they're still doing the identification of the remains of 9/11.
I've done some work with the NYPD, and now I'm a fire chaplain. And I see all the work that the chaplains have done for the NYPD over these years, that you still keep in touch with these people after 20 years.
Oh, sure.
You don't just forget about it. And now with me as the fire chaplain, I see the same thing. There are so many families that the fire department continually reaches out to, that firefighters that died on 9/11, and even now that are dying from 9/11 illnesses.
The whole thing is what we call ministry. You get involved in the lives of people. So this family, I did weddings in the family, I've done baptism to children. After that, because you become their go-to priest, because they met you in a very tragic moment, you become the focus of their religious base, and you lead them to Christ. And that's the whole key, and they're beautiful people. And you're just in your first year as chaplain.
6 months.
Yeah, as you continue, you'll see the key word ministry and how you reach out to people with love.
And I see
Christ love.
And I see how you have baptized or married their children, grandchildren, and that's their connection to their loved one. Because as you said, you were there at that moment. So when they see you, their loved one is there as well.
Yeah, sharing critical moments in life, and especially these things, because it really does bring people back to church. It brings people back to their faith. Those critical moments, if you stand there and all you offer, I don't remember saying anything, I was just there. I was just present with those people. And the ministry of presence is key.
Right. Now I know the police work you do, as we know, you're vicar for schools, you've done a great job over the last just 2 years you've been doing it. And also,
could you imagine, they made me vicar for schools, I was 73 years old. I'm an old man.
Well, I guess there was no one left.
I guess I was the last man standing.
I know also you're head of the Italian apostolate too in the diocese. You try to, to minister to the Italians in the diocese, and now we're here, you're retiring, you're living here at Our Lady of Mount Carmel after being away for 21 years. You've seen how the neighborhood has changed. Many of the Italians have moved out, but yet the feast keeps everything alive. How does it feel to be back?
It's amazing to be back because, first of all, you see the old timers. Okay. There's still a lot of them around. I hate to say, boy, you got old. And I can't believe it, but that's one thing. And then the challenge of meeting the new people. Yeah. The new people are fascinating.
Hold on to that. We're going to take a break. I'm going to pop this in the oven.
I'm holding.
Okay. Open this up. Now what I like to do, as you can see, we breaded them, and I like to spray it with a little olive oil spray on top.
That's olive oil spray?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And now we're going to pop this in the oven for about, I would say, 35 minutes.
That long?
Yeah, at 350.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll take a break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. In a few minutes, we'll be right back with Monsignor Cassato, and we'll also be tasting my chicken rollatini. Don't go away.
Clean as you go. Clean up a little bit here.
Welcome back to Breaking Bread with the one and only, the Pope of Bensonhurst.
I'm the Pope of Brooklyn now because I'm in Williamsburg. What are you kidding?
Welcome back.
I'm here. What do we got now?
Well,
is this food ready? I'm starving.
Yes, it's coming out right now. There we go, right here. Look at that.
How beautiful that looks.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to put this right here. Oops. Flip right over. Look at that.
They really came together.
It's alive, of course. You see, when it cooks, the meat just seals, and you don't have to put toothpicks because then sometimes people choke on a toothpick.
Yeah, be always careful with toothpicks. Delicious. It's okay. I mean, I've had better.
Yeah, the last time I made it.
Making me choke.
So, now tell me, you're here back in Williamsburg. You've seen how it has changed. I've been here 5 years. And one of the reasons why the bishop asked me to come here was, first of all, to run the feast and also to try to reach out to this new community. I've been doing it. And I think you've experienced yourself coming to help with the feast and now living here. I think the parish and the feast has been the center of this community for so long. Did you see the mural downstairs? I'm going to show you that mural. You saw it.
The mural is wonderful. And it really depicts what has happened here. You have the old Williamsburg, you have the church in the center, and you have the new Williamsburg. And the thing that I think is critical, the church is in the center. The church has to be the bridge between the old and the new. The old people looked at the new people coming and saying, who are they? The new people look at us now and say, who are we? Exactly. And the whole key is bringing them together and building the bridge, which is the Catholic Church in this neighborhood.
When I renovated the hall downstairs, I saw that wall. I said, what can I put here? And I guess it was the Spirit just came to me and said, put the neighborhood with the church in the center. And that the church has been the anchor here. And that the church now has to be the vehicle to reach out to these new people. Now you watch during the feast. You see them coming here. They're wonderful people.
If you think of the anchor to this neighborhood, look at it. The church is probably the longest established institution in this
135
neighborhood.
years,
In this neighborhood. You see, even banks have closed. It was amazing. I saw the bank, the Dime Bank is closed. It was like an institution. The church is still here ministering. And that's the key. Meeting the young people where they're at, which is basically in the streets. You got to go one-on-one with them in the streets. At the feast, I've had such a wonderful time talking to the young people. And they're so fascinating because they have careers that are really amazing. Website designers, chefs, artists, all sorts of very
and looking at them,
different
you would
new
never
people.
know.
And you would never know. You never know.
We have these old perceptions
Most
of
of them
people.
need a haircut, but they're really a very challenging group of people. It's interesting because I think one of the things is Annunciation Church. It's a very beautiful church. It has a lot of different artwork. Leave those doors open 24/7.
I know. Well, it's open during the day. We have to be careful. But now, and when I got here, the church was locked. It was only open on Sunday for 2 hours. Now it's opened every day from 7 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. The doors are open. I put glass doors so that they can see in. I have a monitor outside. And you'd be surprised how many people walk into that church. You know, just walk. And with the street closed outside, with the square and the chairs, people sit there. And you know, you talk to them a little bit, and it's the only way you really can reach out to them. We have to, it's not like years ago where you open the doors of the church and they all flocked in. Now we have to go out and meet them where they're at, and we have to engage to them. And it's amazing. You walk around, and I see them all. They walk straight in. When I walk from here to Annunciation to go to church, I say, good morning. Good morning. They respond.
Oh, they do.
They may not say good morning first, but you have to be the first one to say good morning.
I was just looking for you at a pizzeria. I figure anywhere there's good food, there's Monsignor.
Well, I was having a lunch in a
Yes,
meeting. I'm always working.
I went there looking for you, and there was a little baby there. And I went over and I said, what a beautiful baby. I said, God bless you. And they said, thank you, Father. So, I mean, you know, there is that connection. I guarantee you most of these young people in this neighborhood are Catholics. Guarantee you.
I'm sure many of them have been baptized, but then they've
fallen away.
Yes, fallen away. We have to keep them, bringing them back. And I hope you'll help us do that.
I will gladly do that.
In your retirement.
In my retirement? I'm not retired. I'm not retired.
I have known you myself for 50 years when you came as a new priest, and I have seen your ministry over the years and your outreach to people. And the one thing that I really admired in you is that you try to meet everyone where they're at, no matter where they're at. Like Christ, he met people. Who did he eat with? He ate with the sinners. And I know, you've been criticized many times for eating with the sinners, but Christ did that.
You remember the commercial from the phone company years ago?
Reach
out and touch
someone.
And I think that's the key. Touching people with love, touching them with God, touching them with your faith, and you see how people respond to that.
I was very taken back when you celebrated your 50th anniversary, and you had your big celebration, 1,000 people at the El Carib, and people came that you haven't seen in 30, 40, almost 50 years, and them coming to you and saying, you saved my life. And you didn't realize it. We don't realize how many people we touch and encounter as priests. And you have been a testament, you have been a good role model to priests for 50 years, and we pray that God will bless you with good health and continue in your ministry.
Thank you. The priesthood is indeed a gift.
It is.
And it's been a precious gift in my life.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Bread. I hope you enjoyed being here. I'm sure you'll be back on the show, Monsignor, because you're not going anywhere.
Listen to me. I think we're going to be on a lot of shows because I'm going to get my own show. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm working on this whole thing to get my own show.
The ratings won't be so
I
great.
want to get? Oh, I bet.
Thank you, Monsignor,
God
for
bless
being
you.
here, and welcome home.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Bread. The one thing that I have to say that struck me about this show is that you see how Monsignor Cassato served as a priest for 50 years. That's a half a century. And then you think about this parish. This parish has been here for almost 150 years, serving the people. And this parish, believe it or not, had a couple of obstacles. This church was torn down in the late 40s to build the expressway. And they never thought that this church would survive. And it survived. And now we have another obstacle. A lot of people moving out, the neighborhood changed. A lot of people coming in, they're not Catholic. This church will survive, and this church will continue to serve the people. Not just the people who have been here for many years, people with faith, but also the new people. God has given this parish of Our Lady of Mount Carmel a mission. That's why we have the feast. The feast does that. It connects the past to the present to the future. And it's the sign, it's the anchor of God's presence in this neighborhood. And we hope that this church will be here for many years to come. See you next time on Breaking Bread.